Whether you're a barber, cosmetologist, student, independent, parent, or spouse who feels like you have a good fade, but there's just something missing that would set it off, these are my simple steps to a clean ball fade. And I'm hoping it could do just that for you. Set it off. Okay, we're going to jump straight into it. First thing you're going to do is bald out the bottom. Basically shave the bottom. Try not to be too rough on the skin, and the line around does not have to be perfect. Next thing we're going to do is what I like to call a pre-line up. You don't have to get it perfect right now, but just give it some type of frame and direction. Find the highest point of that front line up on the forehead. Make sure you step back and get a good look at it. And same thing, set up basically a frame. Now we're gonna make our bottom layer basically. I would say about an inch, make it about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter high, depending on if you want a high fade, middle fade, or a low fade. You could play around with that and learn to identify where to stop on each one from experimentation. Now we're gonna start blending into the top area. So I'm gonna use the old guard and the Speedo guide guards because I know that length going against the grain is about what the top is. And you know, it's better to start too big and move down than to start too small. Alright, so now I downsize my guards. I put a number 1 on the purples Andis guards. Yes, I use the purple guards with the fast feeds. I'm very universal with it. I experiment with a lot of different guards, clippers. Always redirect the hair, replace it, put it where it should be at, the direction it should be going in. It'll help you check your progress much more accurately. So now we're gonna move down. I've dropped my guard to the O guard on the purples, and I'm just kind of working that bottom heavy area out. You have to be patient because it's not gonna look the way you envision right now, but I guarantee you it will at the end. Now we're gonna go with the grain just to lay it down a little bit into the fade work that we've started. And we do the same thing on the other side. And again, I cannot put enough emphasis on how important it is to redirect the hair, replace it, and see how it's looking. And oh, of course, please treat your client like $1 million. All right, so right now we could call this work in the middle. All right. Every now and then you have to dig in there at an odd angle just to get a heavy spot out, and that's why focus is so important. Patience and focus. because if you're patient, you know you're gonna get there and you'll keep going. If you're focused, you'll realize that although there are steps, I need to pay close attention and identify heavy areas or dark areas, whatever works best for you. And a real big tip also is to step back from your cut from time to time and zoom in on your cut from time to time, just like you would with a camera or binoculars. By gaining those different perspectives, you see the cut from different people's perspective. So right here, sometimes you have to use the corner of that blade. You know, you have to get a little loose with it. You know, it's not always going to be a perfect stroke. Every strand on the hair is different, so your strokes have to also be diverse. This is the focus, catching those dark areas. So now we're at the bottom, fading out, and notice we're fading out, starting the fade out, but we're not actually at the bottom yet. There you go. So we're gonna start fading the top of the beard. I already balded the top of the beard out. And now we're just working the opposite way with our lever. The beard is a little less uniform than the head, so you definitely want to pay attention to the direction of each hair and be prepared to use your clippers at different angles, and to use the corners of your clippers from time to time, like I'm doing right there, to get those couple of hairs. Alright, and you know the routine, repeat the same thing on the other side.